I was just running away because I didn't know what was going on. And quite literally, the only thing that was racing through my mind was like, my worst fear is here. Like, hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Life After I Do. I'm your host Nesha G, and I'm here with my husband, who's singing.
Moelthal.
Moelthal. Hey babe.
Hey Buscaronis.
How's it going?
It's going, Buscaronis.
Oh my gosh. Such a popular saying in our house. Buscaronis. How's everything?
Everything is everything.
Everything is everything.
You're not Lauren. Calm down.
Hey. Everything is everything.
You're not Lauren. Calm down.
Whatever. After what? No, just.
Lord. Must come spring.
Must come spring.
Change.
It comes eventually.
I'm going to send this to Drake. So you can be just like Kendrick too.
Scandalous.
How's your week, Buskies?
My week was really good.
Oh, what'd you do?
Family time. Got to hang out with you and the little.
Time.
Universal was the highlight of my week. That was really fun.
Word.
We decided to do an impromptu visit to Universal Studios. So we originally had plans on taking her to the zoo. I don't know how we pivot from the San Diego Zoo to Universal Studios Hollywood, but
it is what it is.
8:00 in the morning, we were like, let's just go to Universal. I think because we both wanted to see Super Mario World, so
it was for us.
Yeah, it was for us, and we were.
And I got the most coins.
And okay, that's debatable, but you don't even know if you got the most coins.
I checked that.
You never got your little wristband check.
I checked that.
Which, by the way, for those of you who have not gone to
it's
Super
just a
Mario
souvenir.
World, you know, it's a cool souvenir. Those power up bands that they try to convince you to buy, they're cool souvenirs, but they are so not worth it.
No.
Like
all you get is
you
this kind of stuff
nothing
in the app.
Yeah, you don't really
get much.
Like, even when you speak to one of the what are they called? There's an actual title for the people who work there.
Workers.
Okay, the workers, but that's not what they're called. But anywho, even when you talk to them and you ask them like, what do I get for the points and stuff, they kind of shake their head like, it's not really anything. Like, we just got you to spend another $45.
You get something.
You got a really cool like wristband that looks like it does a lot of things, but it really does not. But anywho, Super Mario World was my favorite. Mario Kart was my fave. I really liked Mario Kart. It was my zhuzh.
It was your zhuzh.
And obviously seeing the smile on her face, like her taking pictures with Toad and, you know, doing, because she plays Super Mario Kart here at home on the DS. And so
the Switch. How old are you?
Oh, shoot.
God.
I just aged myself, didn't I?
Damn.
I'm proud of my age. I'm 37.
Time to get a new one.
Okay.
You know what Dave said?
Bye. I'm 37, and I pray that I live to see 73.
He wasn't lying.
Okay.
Dave said he wasn't lying.
So anywho, yeah, so that was probably like my highlight. And then of course seeing her so happy. She was like really happy. She was really excited.
Really spoiled.
Because the last time we went, she was in a stroller. So it's not like she did much, but this time she was able to get on everything except for Harry Potter.
And the Mummy.
What was it? The
Harry Potter.
It was only the one of the two Harry Potters. She got on the roller coaster. She got on the I think it's called the Hippogriff. She wasn't able to get on, I forgot what the other one's called, but she wasn't able to get on that one because you have to be 48 inches, and she's just under 48 inches. So she wasn't able to get on that, but she was able to do everything else. So that made it so much easier. I think now that she's older and she's getting older, things like that, like going to amusement parks and stuff, is more worth it now because she can actually experience things. As before, it's like even when we went for ourselves, we still had a baby attached to us, so it's not like we could do much.
Now we can ball out.
I don't want to say all that, but yeah, that was really fun.
Ball out with fun.
Yeah,
Like a,
that was fun. And then we had a family day over the weekend, so that was really good. But she was like tapped out by Saturday, and she was like, we went to what was it, the mall, because he needed new Crocs. So
that was on Friday.
Friday he needed new Crocs,
A
and
family that
so
crocs together rocks together.
we were at the mall and stuff, and she goes, "Are we going home yet?"
Like, when are we going home?
She was like, "We've been out, like we've been doing something like every day. Like I'm done. Okay, y'all didn't make sure I had a good spring break.
When are we going
Spring break.
home?
I need a break. Spring break. I need a break." So yeah, that was really good. So I had a pretty good weekend. I enjoyed spending time with you guys. That was fun.
That's great.
Yeah. How was your weekend?
My weekend was great.
Mm-hmm.
I On Thursday I annihilated my family, and I do mean annihilated them.
What do you?
I collected the most coins. I
Gosh, you
conquered
are
Bowser's
not.
castle.
Oh my gosh.
The little boy in me was so excited. It wasn't even about the family. It was a competition from the moment we walked through the tunnel. They thought it was nice and fun and games. I said, it's on. Do you know how many people I hit with blue shells and green shells on Mario Kart? You know how fun that was? You know how much I enjoyed myself beating little kids in games I had been playing for years? It was a great Thursday.
It was a great Thursday.
Then I got new Crocs.
He was so excited about his Crocs. So we go into the Croc store, and they're having a sell on clearance, and they're buy two get two free. So he's just like, "Oh my gosh! Like
I came the right
now I
day.
need even more Crocs."
I
And I'm
came on
like,
the
"You
right
don't.
day. I came on the
You
right
don't.
day.
You don't. You
I
don't."
came on the right day.
We still ended up walking out with what we needed,
Right.
because then of course the things that you like are
Oh,
not on
of
clearance.
course. So then,
Like especially hers, we ended up paying full price for hers.
okay. So then on Friday, we got, we did some shopping, got some clothes and some Crocs and stuff. And on Saturday, we enjoyed ourselves at the improv.
Oh yeah, I completely forgot about
Yeah,
that. I
because
don't
you
know
don't care.
how.
Because you don't care.
Um,
Because you still listen to R. Kelly.
what? He says that because okay, so we went and saw Dion Cole. We went and saw Dion Cole on Saturday, and he was okay. And I don't think I mentioned this to you, but I'm gonna be like super honest. Like I absolutely loved Dion Cole. He was really great in the beginning, though. Like I feel like he was being like an asshole, but because he's
I thought
also
he
a
was.
comedian, and if you've ever watched his stand up and
I,
you see
I
like
thought he was in
his
character the whole
demeanor and
time.
stuff, right? You thought he was in character, but he was low key not playing
I think he
when
was
he
just.
said that to that woman,
He was. I think
because he was tired.
he was tired.
Yes, and he made that very clear. He
But
was
it was
like,
hilarious.
and you could tell him and his the person that came out before him to like warm up the
It's
crowd
like
and stuff.
Ocean. I forgot his
Ocean
name.
somebody, but he
I
was
forgot his
really
name.
funny too. But you can tell they are just like
They were spent.
they are done.
They were spent.
Like they were ready to get in the
They
car
were.
and head back to wherever it is they come back from, because they've been doing this for the last 3 days? 3 days straight.
And with all that being said, it was still a great
and
show.
it was still a great show, but I could definitely see the fatigue and the tiredness.
My nigga,
right?
he told us he was tired, and that if he saw a pillow, the show might be over. He said
right,
he
did. Like Dion, when he had came out, he was like, "I am sleepy as shit," and he was like, "And I've been eating all day, and I just finished eating." Like even when they announced him to come out, he didn't even come out right away.
He was still eating.
He was still eating. He was like, I was still eating. So first of all, that kind of like rubbed me the wrong way.
I don't know why.
Bit.
Why
but
I
get it.
He did an hour and a half of
I know,
content.
but I do get it. That's why I said I still enjoyed myself. But anywho, when he had came out and he was telling us how sleepy he was really
I thought
tired.
this was about my week.
He was
and
like,
you just took over.
if I see a pillow, like it's over, the whole nine. And before he came out, there was like this preface, and they kept saying like, don't talk to him, don't like make direct questions or anything. Like everybody was saying this, like they were making it very pertinent, like do not talk to him and do not like heckle him or anything like that, right? And
but it's always
we've been to the improv multiple times, and I literally have never been told that with the comedian. Like the last comedian we saw was Bruce. And Bruce, the reason why I really liked his set is because he's very audience interactive. Like he
But not
likes
every comic's not
every
that
comic
way.
is different. I know, that's what I'm saying, but just let me. Okay. So anyway, they were telling us
You
not to talk
realize
to him.
this
He
was
didn't
my
want
week.
he didn't want to be talked to and all this other stuff. So he was talking about making a joke and a reference into how shouts out to women who don't sync their phone contacts with their car, right? Because he was with a young lady
Baby,
and like
we
her
not
side
leave, don't
piece.
tell all the jokes.
I'm
Leave
not,
next
and her
question.
side piece was calling and blah blah blah. And he was like, women, y'all are like, you guys are real ones. Y'all do, you guys do the craziest things. And then a girl yelled out, she was like, men too. Don't forget the men too. And he was like, shut the fuck up.
He
Like,
did not say that.
okay, he didn't say it
He
like
did not
that,
say
but
that.
it was
This is
the
what he
tone.
said. This
And
was
then he was
this.
like, bitch, we didn't rehearse together.
That's what he said, and it was hilarious.
He was like, bitch, we didn't rehearse together. But because, I don't know, maybe it was just me. Because I was like, he meant that. He meant
did,
that.
and I loved it.
And the thing about it is after he
I
said
loved
that,
it.
it's kind of like everybody got the picture. Like everybody understood that, okay, he's being serious. Like, do not call out to him. Do not speak to him, right? Because
No,
he said no. Because he
no, it said he
said don't talk to me. That's verbatim. That's what he said. He said don't talk to me.
He meant like he meant like don't heckle.
I understand
Like
that
me
because you
because
don't interrupting the show.
okay,
I understand that, but I'm just saying I understand that. I was talking before you tried to interrupt
baby,
me, so it
but
doesn't matter.
you interrupt my week. I was talking about my week, and then you just took off because I mentioned the improv. But it's cool. It's okay. It's your show. It's your show.
I was just saying. I wanted to get that out.
It,
But yeah, that just kind of rubbed me a little bit the wrong way. And then towards the end of the show, he wanted to interact with the audience, and then nobody was like interacting with him.
okay.
Okay, so now you have nothing to say.
I have nothing to say about
Really?
I enjoyed
Tell
myself.
me about your experience.
I enjoyed Deion Cole. I thought it was a great show. I thought he was hilarious. I thought the guy that came on before him was hilarious.
What was his name?
I forgot his name. He was funny. But I'm gonna be going to Turkey to get my hair implants.
I just remembered.
And I enjoyed myself. I thought everything was hilarious, personally.
I mean, it was funny. I'm not saying it wasn't funny. I'm just saying that I caught that little asshole moment.
What we got today, babe?
Nothing else happened with your week? Are you sure?
Nah, I'm done after that.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Really?
I'm sure. Cause I see the energy you got tonight.
What's the energy I have?
You very brolic tonight.
I'm very what?
Brolic tonight.
What does that mean?
Strong willed. Well, brolic don't mean strong. Brolic means like strong.
I was like, brolic means strong willed?
No, it means strong, but
oh. Okay. Anywho, so tonight I wanted to go over.
Tonight is the night.
I can't with you. I was just thinking about
tonight is the night. Cause I'm 7 and 11. I'm kicking ass tonight. Hey,
I can't.
Shout out to Quick.
I can't. Wedding vows, right?
I do not.
And I was just thinking about wedding vows and our wedding vows and the vows that we as married people take.
For richer or richer.
But I don't necessarily hear many conversations about when you really have to like hold on to your vows or when your vows really come into play and how that can change the relationship or the after effects of certain aspects of like your vows, for better, for worse, richer, poor, sickness and in health, till death do you part, love and cherish, like all of those things. And it got me to thinking about some of the times during our relationship and during our marriage of the sickness and in health portion, right? So for context, what was it, last August?
It was June.
Last June? Oh, it was June because my nephew's graduation. Last June 10th, actually. My husband was in a motorcycle accident. And
it was nothing major.
Okay, you can downplay it all you want to. And the only reason why he's doing this, FYI, for the record, is because this has been a hot topic.
It ain't
It
hot.
has been a hot
It's hot.
topic
It's hot to you.
since it's been, like I said, it's been a hot topic in our topic of discussion in our relationship since June. But I like in reference to the vowels, like in sickness and in health, that's what came up for me, right? So he had a motorcycle accident last June, June 10th, and it was like the most terrifying thing for me. Like to get the phone call, got a phone call from his writing partner. Why are you smirking? Because
Because
it's not a
I
funny matter.
I'm not like I'm thinking about the person who called you was not the right person to call you,
Probably
and
not,
that
but that's
probably
who
is,
you were writing with.
and that's
So,
probably what set the precedent, or set the stage for your feelings. But it's good.
okay. Anywho, his writing partner called me.
Don't say it like that. That don't sound
The
good to me.
the person who he rides motorcycles with, his motorcycle riding partner,
I was in a group.
called
It
me.
was more than two of us.
It was a group of you, but that's the one that I know. And he's the one who called me, and the first thing he says,
Even though I told him not to call you, that I
the
would call
first
you.
thing he says, I pick up the phone. I had already known something must have happened because he has never called me directly. I converse with his wife and I converse with him when we all hang out as a couple, but he has never called my cell phone directly. So I already knew when I saw, like, I was driving in the car with my sister and her best friend, and I looked down at my phone and it said his number, and it had his regular, like, his actual full name, and immediately I was already like, okay, what is this about? Like, I was trying not to get myself hyped up, and the first words out of his mouth were, "Hey, Kainisha," and I was like, "Hey, what's going on?" And he was like, "Maurice went down." My heart,
So
my
insensitive.
heart
Dropped.
sunk. No, it didn't drop. It didn't drop. It sunk. Like immediate, and
But I've talked to you on the scene. I remember that.
but listen, I'm driving, and also, mind you, I'm 5.5 hours away from him, probably even more, because I was up north, okay, and he was in like the San Diego area. I was in Fresno.
We were on two opposite sides of the state.
Yeah, I was in Fresno, okay, so it's not like I can even get to him right away. And all I
I was
hear
straight.
is, after he said Maurice went down, I immediately went into panic mode. My sister was driving. I immediately start crying. I'm yelling. Her friend is in the back. She's like, "What's going on?" And when I was like, "Where is he?" Then my sister knew who I was talking about. And my sister's like, "No, no, 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 no." So she hurries up, pulls over to the side of the road. I was asking for you. And I was like, "Where is he? Where is he?" His next words were, "The paramedics are with him. You can't talk to him."
He ruined me.
Those were his next words. The next words were, "The paramedics are with him. He can't talk." I threw the phone. I got out the car.
Wait, hold on. I didn't know about this.
I threw the phone.
You
Look,
threw the phone I paid for?
my sister took the phone. She was
Like you
talking to
chucked
him.
it?
She was talking to him. I get out the car and I ran across the parking lot, because we had pulled over into like a shopping
Where
center
were you
parking lot.
going?
We were going to look for something
No, no,
for
no, no,
Demaria's
no, 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 no,
graduation.
no. When you started running, where were you going?
I was just running away because I didn't know what was going on, and quite literally, the only thing that was racing through my mind was like, my worst fear is here. Like, everything was going through literally everything was going through my mind at one time, and that's why I don't think you understand like how traumatic the situation was for me. While you try to take such a lighthearted approach to it to make it seem like it wasn't a big deal, because it absolutely was a big deal.
To
It
you.
was no, it was absolutely a big deal.
To
And
you.
Maurice, it was a big deal. Stop it. You're only being this way because you're trying to make it seem like it wasn't a big deal because you just want to ride again. So
I'm going to ride
okay,
again.
well, whatever. But you know that it was a big deal. Anywho,
Okay.
it was very traumatic. I'm screaming, I'm yelling. So then I come back. My sister gives me the phone. I was able to talk to him. They were working with him. They were getting him to the hospital. He had to be airlifted to the hospital. He did 3 days in the hospital.
Okay, hold on. When you say airlifted, you need to clarify. The only reason why I was
Does
airlifted,
it matter?
yes, it does
Okay, go
matter.
ahead. Go
It
ahead,
does
because
matter.
this is part of how you try to make light of the
Oh my god.
situation. So go ahead.
The only reason why I was airlifted was because a motorcycle accident is considered, an extreme trauma event, whether you go down or not, right? And I was literally in the canyons, like I was in the like middle of nowhere. I was 20 minutes from a small town, and I had to be airlifted to get to the closest like trauma hospital. That was the quickest way to get me there because the ride in the ambulance would have been like a 3-4 hour ride. So they had to airlift me because of where I was, not because of the injuries. It was just because of location.
Okay, so he was airlifted to the hospital. Like, I don't, I really don't understand. Like, it doesn't matter. So he's airlifted to the hospital. I can't get to him. I go back to my sister's house. It's my nephew's like graduation party is what we were getting ready for. So my mom was there, my dad was there, my sister, her friends, like everybody was there. I'm like panicked. I don't know what to do because I don't have all the details. I only have the details that they're giving me. I'm trying to grab my car keys to leave. No one's letting me leave because they're like, you can't leave because you're upset. The whole nine, everything. So he's in the hospital for 3 days. He, his ankle,
Should have been two.
his ankle, his legs, back, the side portion towards his back. Like, he's got a very small collapse of the lung, a very small fracture, a broken rib, typical
I did not
things.
have a broken rib.
It was considered a broken rib.
I had a cracked rib.
It was considered a broken rib.
It wasn't broken. It was
Okay, broken,
cracked.
cracked, whatever, due to a motorcycle accident. Doesn't matter. Thank God that at least he was responsible enough to wear his gear, because had he not had gear on, it would have been a lot worse.
I always wear gear when I'm in the canyons.
Okay, but it would have been a lot worse. Okay. And when I was in the hospital, there was another patient that was there who came in from a motorcycle accident. And when I tell you, it looked like somebody tied this boy to the back of a truck and just drug him 5 to 20 miles on the back of a truck. That's how messed up he was. Okay.
I didn't see him.
So yeah, I know you didn't see a lot. You were in your room. I saw a lot though. Anywho,
The drugs was good.
the reason why it made me think about it, it's because it's the aftermath of the accident, where you weren't mobile for a period of time, where you had to be on medication for a period of time. The
Well, because I had I had
the
I had a fractured ankle, so I was eventually put in a cast, and I couldn't get it. I
and
couldn't.
you couldn't, right, and you couldn't get around, and you couldn't get up, and there was the whole time where like I had to help you if you needed to go, to the potty.
You had to help me walk. You wasn't like wiping my ass. Calm down.
Not at the potty, but I had to bathe you at the hospital
That's because I was
because you
fresh.
couldn't do it yourself.
Well, that's because you didn't want old girl to do it.
Because you couldn't do it yourself.
I,
Okay.
I had a very attractive LVN.
So the aftermath of the motorcycle accident, when you have a partner who is going through something like health wise or like a physical disability, whether it be temporary, whether it be permanent, there's a lot that happens with the other spouse who now plays a little bit role of like the caregiver, right? There's the whole mental health aspect of it for the person who is going through the hardship or the disability. And then there's the mental health of the partner who has to witness their spouse go through it, right? So, you being not able to go to work, you being able not to do all the things that you wanted to do or that you were used to doing, started to take a toll on you mentally, right? Because there was also, I think, what's tied to
I was
that,
cooped in the house.
what you
That's
were
what it
cooped
was.
up in the house. And then there's also the financial aspect to that, right? Because, I'm a stay at home mom. You're our sole provider. So there was a lot of moving and shaking and maneuvering on your part that you had to figure out. And before we even got to the part where you got home, for me, those are all the things that were like on my mind that I was thinking about, right? Because I didn't know the extent of your injuries until I got to see you myself, right? So immediately I'm concerned with you, and I'm concerned with, like, is my husband going to be okay? Is everything fine? But then immediately after that, literally start thinking about our home structure. I start thinking about our child. I start thinking about what is it that I'm going to have to tackle or take on, or, like, am I going to have to get up there and like manage the money, manage the bills, pay this or pay that? Who do I need to call? Like, I need to get the insurance information going out. Like, because I didn't know the extent of what was going on, right? And so for me on my end, that was really stressful. And it was also a very like eye-opening, awakening part on my end, because like we've had the conversation before where I told you if anything was to happen to you like today or right now, like where do I start? Like I don't know, like where do I start? Where do I go? Who do I talk to? Like all of those
Well, you
things
you call the
go
insurances first.
all of those things like go through my mind. You know what I mean? So that was like that's like really really tough. And then when getting you home and you experiencing pretty much like a little bit of a depression, because you now have the same weight of trying to take care of the family that you had prior to your injury, but now you're stuck in bed. And then you're not only stuck in bed, you're stuck in bed and in pain, and you're uncomfortable. And it was the summertime, and we had plans. There were things we needed to do for her, there were things we needed to do for the family, and like all that got put on hold. We couldn't do any of those things because now you're down, right? So not only did that take a toll on you, that took a toll on me too. And I don't think when we talk about when you're caring for your partner, the mental health aspect, the communication, because people are frustrated, people are fearful, like I was afraid, I was frustrated, you were frustrated with the whole situation, I was annoyed and frustrated. Our communication got a little dismantled at the time because their energies are running high, emotions are running high. And I don't think sometimes, there's enough conversation around how that can affect your relationship and how you kind of work through that and get through that to get to the other side of it. So, like for you, being the person who was injured, being the person who was temporarily disabled, how was that experience for you?
What aspect of it?
The whole thing.
The only aspect of the whole situation that bothered me was two things. One was the financial uh, drawbacks, and two was the fact that I lost my bike. The injuries didn't bother me. I've been hurt before.
But you never been hurt like that before.
I've never had to be in the cast, but I've
Or bedridden.
I've been bedridden temporarily when I was a kid. You don't understand. Like I did some dangerous stuff as a teenager. Like I'm used to things like that. The injury did not bother me. The crash did not bother me. I can remember. I remember the crash. I remember when I accepted the fact that I was about to crash, and I remember watching. I remember watching myself crash. I remember watching the whole ordeal. Like that's not traumatic to me. To me, that's just I don't want to say part of being a boy, but it's essentially just it's kind of like part of being the boy. To me, it was no different from when I used to BMX jump and I went over the front of the handlebars. It was just that. The only difference was I was on a different type of machine. Same, the fall was still the same. The speed was maybe a little bit faster, but like I said, when I had my accident, I think my speed at the time was only like 20-25 miles per hour. I wasn't really going that fast when I uh when I crashed. So like to me it was like, yeah, it was an unfortunate chain of events. But like that, like I always say, like from the injury side, like I get it. That's a risk that I knew I was taking, that I was willing to take, because I knew that I wasn't doing anything. I wouldn't put myself in a situation where I would like, fatally injure myself. But at the same time, the only thing I thought about was, man, like I got a family to take care of. I wasn't really thinking about myself or the injuries, like the pain. Like the pain was the pain. Like you learn to deal with pain. Like that part sucked. Like, cause honestly, what it was maybe 2 weeks worth of like pain before I had some level of normalcy, but like that was fine. The only thing that bothered me was the fact that now I have to figure out, I mean, how I'm gonna make the money stretch as far as possible because I'm not bringing in my normal money, and and the fact that I lost my bike. That was what bothered me, and also I'm sorry, it also bothered me that you had to do so much for me. That bothered me because not only did we have our child, we had our niece at the same time too. So that was like it was a lot. I did feel like it was a lot on you, and I felt bad for you in that situation. That's why I eventually just started hobbling around here on my cast, even though I wasn't supposed to. I just didn't want to feel like I was like just useless.
And it's oddly enough, I'm happy that you mentioned that because, like how he said, he just started trying to do things on his own when he wasn't supposed to, and then that would make me mad. That would upset me because I know that he's not supposed to be up. I know that he's not supposed to be like pushing himself to the limit. And for me, in my mind, it's like, okay, you're his wife, right? I can handle this. I can take care of the kids. I can take care of the house. I can take care of you. Not to say that it wasn't stressful, not to say that I wasn't like tapped out, because I absolutely was, but I was also like, give me the respect of being your wife and caring for you, right?
I understand that, but
I
from my perspective, I was like, you were already doing a lot. We had a at the time she was only 5. We had a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old around here.
Yeah.
And I was like, you're doing enough. And the 2-year-old was demanding.
No sleep, no breaks.
Just demanding. So it was like, no, I'll hobble the 12 feet to the shower and I'll shower myself. I had a water proof cast. I said, so I can bathe myself. I'll lean up against the wall and I'll bathe myself. I can go to the bathroom by myself. I said, only thing I really cannot do regularly is go up and downstairs. So if I grab my crutches and make my way downstairs in the morning, I'm gonna be downstairs for a while because when I go back upstairs,
I have to be
I'm gonna
upstairs.
be upstairs.
Yeah.
So that was the only thing I used to try to come downstairs in the morning so you would have to bring me breakfast food, and then I would just go back upstairs. And then when I got my scooter for my leg, we did go out a little bit more because I could just scoot around.
Yeah.
But like my whole thing was just like, okay, you're doing too much. So let me, when I say you, I mean talking about you, not me. I was like, she's doing too much for me. I need to be a little more self reliant. The better I started to feel, even when I didn't feel the best, I just like it was part of me. I was like, let me take some of this off of her.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really rough. I feel like that was the first time in our marriage where, I mean, okay, the first time where I actually felt like there could have been like a chance that I would be left here without you,
Mhm.
right? There was one other time before I remember where you had to go to the hospital. I can't really remember. No, it was like you were having chest pains or something like that, and we had went to urgent care, and urgent
Yeah, I
care, yeah,
remember
and the
that.
urgent care doctor was like, we're gonna have to send you to the emergency room, and they had to like get him in an ambulance
That's
and
when
send him to,
I had the slight heart murmur I didn't know about.
yeah, and they had to get him to the emergency room. Like, aside from that time, it's like those are like the two most distinctive times in my life where I was like,
I tell you what, when Dirty Plaque got totaled, I should have went to the hospital that night. I'm pretty sure I had a concussion. Looking back on it, I'm pretty sure I had a concussion.
well, I don't know, there's not much you can do about that now.
And all I did was go home that day, rest, and then went to work the next day.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I had a concussion.
Yeah, but you need to be more like, I mean, to continue to put yourself on the back burner obviously is not healthy. You know what I mean? So those are
It don't.
preventative things, that you could take too moving forward, is
What? Not putting myself on the back burner?
trying not to, like, when it comes to serious things like that, not
Oh,
putting yourself on the back burner is probably not the most conducive thing.
yeah. I just
But I mean, anywho, back to the topic at hand. In sickness and in health, I don't think a lot of people ever really think that that's a part of your marriage that you would have to really experience in a significant way. Now, granted, I have heard stories and I see it daily on my newsfeed where you have spouses who have to care for like a terminally ill um, spouse, right? I can't imagine, but I just know that even with just this incident where I had to essentially be your caregiver, essentially like take care of you in that capacity because you were not at 100%, you know, you were sick, quote unquote, for lack of better verbiage. I know that was like an eye opener for
I
me.
was down bad.
It was an eye opener for me. It was scary for me. It was
What was scary? The
what do you,
thought of taking care of me?
no, the thought that you could not be here was scary. Like I that's why I keep when we have this discussion, that's what I try to convey to you as much as possible. And I know, the disagreement gets heated at times. Most of the times when we talk about this, because I know that you have a desire to get back on the bike. You want to get back on the bike. Like I understand that. But I try to convey to you as much as possible what that experience was like for me. Just like how you try to convey to me your experience when I had to be in the hospital. There was a time where I had to be admitted to the hospital for 3 days because I had developed acute anemia. It was just kind of like really just out of nowhere. But come to find out, it was because I was making drastic changes in a short period of time to my diet, and it resulted in me having an episode of acute anemia, which resulted to me being in the hospital for 3 days. And yes, that was scary for me, but like listening to you tell me about your experience being the partner on the other side of that, when you tell me how you felt, like seeing me in the hospital, having to go through multiple blood transfusions, not being able to be there by my side every second of every day, and going home and feeling like, how could you like do life and finish life and raise her by yourself? I had the same exact feelings. You know what I mean? Like I felt the exact same way in that moment when I got the phone call that said he went down on his motorcycle, or he can't talk to you because he's with the paramedics. That's exactly how I felt. In that moment, I felt as though like my entire life had been inside of a salt shaker and somebody was like shaking it up. That for me, that's what that felt like. And it was hard. It was really hard. And then to bring you home and see you laid up in the bed and see you not feeling your best. Like you see how I get when you get sick. Like when you're at home just sick, like with a cold or something, I'm always on like high guard when him or our daughter is like sick. I'm like on high guard. You know what I mean? So imagine how I felt in that moment to think that my husband's not here anymore,
I can imagine that.
right? So that's why it upsets me when you try to downplay it so much, like it wasn't
Baby,
it
it's not, I'm not downplaying it. All I say is that it was not as traumatic for me as it is for you. That's all I say. I don't downplay your events, or your recollection or your feelings on the event. I just tell you my perspective of it. As the person who actually went through the incident, it was not that bad for me.
right.
It was not something that happened that would be enough to hinder me from ever writing again.
Or it so you basically saying you weren't scared enough.
No,
Is that what you're saying?
I wasn't scared.
So at no point, even when you say you knew you were gonna crash.
I was never scared.
There was no point in you like, oh shit.
I was never scared.
You were just like, oh, okay, this is
Well,
what
no,
happened. I wonder what I have to do on Friday.
no,
Oh,
that's
like
not what I'm
that's
saying.
like
What I'm
that.
saying is what I'm saying is I was going I remember I was going down the road. I was kind of spaced out, not really paying too much attention. Looked up, here comes a curve. Oh shit, here comes a curve. Gotta lean. Go to lean. I'm not leaning hard enough. Oh shit. Now I took my eyes off the road. I'm not looking where I'm supposed to look. And anyone who rides motorcycles know when you're not looking where you're supposed to be looking, you're
You
not.
go to where your eyes, wherever
You go
your
to your
eyes are,
right.
you go.
So I realized, well, shit. All right, I can fix this. I can fix this. Oh no, I can't because there's something sticking out of the mountain. Boom, clip it, and I knew it. I said, when I saw it coming, I accepted it. I said, it is what it is. Let's see how it goes.
Let's see how it goes.
That's exactly what I said. Let's see how this goes. It is what it is. I said, oh shit, it is what it is. Because in that moment, I could not do anything. The only thing I could do in that moment was have the bike. I could lean the bike, and I could and that's really why I fractured my ankle, because when I leaned the bike, my ankles what my leg and my ankles what caught the boulder, and that's what pushed me back to lift me up at the speed I was going.
Yeah.
So that I saw it happening.
I mean, I can understand that because
But it wasn't, like I said, it wasn't enough to scare me, because that's not the first time. Like it wasn't even the second time. You're talking to someone who used to ride on hoods while someone did donuts. You're talking
babe,
to
that was so long ago.
okay,
You were
baby,
a
but
child.
I was a teenager. You're talking to someone. I can remember being 16, maybe not 16, 14, 15, and going off of a bike jump and literally landing so hard to where I hit my chest on the handlebars and lost all the air out my body. I thought I broke my collarbone as hard as I hit, and it ended up hitting the ground. Like I've crashed on two wheels so many times because I've always been on bikes. I've always done stuff on bikes that it's not like it scares me. That's why, and that's the difference. Like I understand your concern. I understand your nature and your drive to want to protect me, and you think the way to protect me is just to remove me from any situation like that. I understand that. But from my eyes, it's like this is a risk I knew I could take. And in my eyes, it's just one thing I learned. I learned two things that day. One, don't ride when you don't want to ride. Two, when I do ride, I need to be more vigilant. I need to not get complacent. And the fact of the matter is that in that moment before the crash, I got complacent because I had been driving straight forever. I don't know if anybody ever drove to Julian through Idlewild, but there's a stretch of the road where you drive straight forever. It's like a good 20, probably 20, maybe a little less miles, where you're going straight. You're not turning, you're not doing nothing, you're just going straight. And I got to the point where I'm just like, oh, I'm just going straight. I'm not, and I'm just kind of here. I'm just kind of listening to music, and then I see it. And by the time I see it, it's too late. But I accepted it.
Well, one thing I want to say is I don't want you to think that in my mind the way that I'm protecting you is just to like remove you from it
No,
altogether.
well,
That's not where I'm coming from with it when I say I don't want you on a bike again. Where I'm coming from is, and like as you guys can see, we're still working through this. Life after I do. This is why we do this, because these are real conversations, right? I'm coming from the place of this is something you've always wanted to do, right? We've talked about you having a bike for years. We talked about you getting on a bike forever, for years. When the time came for you to get a bike, was I on board?
yeah.
Okay. I was on board.
Well, I mean, not
No,
100%.
no, don't. We're not gonna backpedal. We're not gonna give credit where credit's due. Like we're not gonna do that. I was
Okay.
on board. I compromised. I put my feelings and fears to the side because I wanted to support you in something that I knew that you were really excited about. You were, you were able to get the bike that you wanted. I didn't want to be a killjoy. And I said, you know what? Let him do his thing, right? I've always been an advocate for you doing your thing, for you doing things that made you happy. Have I not? Have I
Yeah.
not?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Is this what you're going to do?
I see where this is going.
Okay. So I did all of that. I compromised. In my eyes, I feel as though I was there. Like I backed you. I supported you. I did all of the things. The incident happened, right? So now we're going second round in. Now we're in a position where I'm going to express my concerns. I never expressed my concerns with you on a bike.
You did.
I no, not to the extent of the conversations that we've been having since your accident. And I didn't do that because I didn't want to put that type of unnecessary pressure on you, and because I wanted this to be a enjoyable experience for you.
Oh man.
So I did not do that. But
It's like
now hold on. But now that we're post accident, now that we're on the other side of this, I'm not gonna hold back. And for me, in my perspective, I feel like, and as I've told you before, it's an unnecessary risk to take. That's the way I feel about it. It doesn't, I'm not trying to say that you shouldn't like being on the bike. When you first got your bike and before you got your bike, I was trying to get into it with you, right? We went over to his friend's house. They had bikes. His wife let me use her bike. I got on her bike. I was even trying to get into riding too. I got riding boots. Like I thought this was going to be something that we both could do,
you still can.
right?
We still can.
But just like when you were just talking about how you saw that you were like you were gonna crash before you did, I had a small incident like that when we were riding around in the neighborhood, and the only thing that saved me from going over was the fact that motorcycle was a manual. That's the only thing that has saved me. So I was able to use the clutch to prevent myself from flying off of the damn motorcycle. But I say all that to say, now that we're on the other side of this, I have no choice but to express my concerns and try to convey to you how I feel as though it's an unnecessary risk to take, especially at this time in our life where we still have a young child that we're still trying to raise together. Where I'm, a stay at home parent right now, where a lot of our life and resource is dependent upon you. Like, in my opinion, I feel like it's just not a risk that's 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 necessary. But I don't want to discredit that it's a passion of yours or that it's a really enjoyable hobby. Like I get it. I get that. But this time round, it's like I'm not just trying to remove you from it altogether, but I am going to strongly convey to you my feelings about it as we continue to work through it. Nothing.
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 No, because this is supposed to be about sickness and health. This is been a
Well,
trend.
that's because it's all tied in together.
This is
It's all tied in together because of the accident, in sickness and in health, babe. God forbid if had gotten into an accident and your disability, your temporary disability, was worse than what it was.
I don't know what that means, but okay.
Your injuries, I mean, because you were temporarily disabled to doing 100% of the functions that you normally do. So, God forbid if something were, if they were worse. Like,
I hear you, babe.
you know what I mean?
I hear you.
As you guys, like I said, this is something we're still working through.
No, we're not working through
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
This is something where you have your stance and I have mine, and
Okay.
it only ends in one person being unhappy.
It only ends in what?
One person being unhappy.
I suppose.
You ain't no.
Real conversations, guys.
No, this is real.
These. I know that's what I'm saying. These are the real things. Like no sugarcoating. These are the real things.
And like I always tell you, I can separate the action from the trauma. You can't.
That you know what you might be right. You might be right.
And the I don't see any risk in enjoying my life.
You don't see any risk in enjoying your life?
No, I do not.
I can think of like 2 major occasions where that statement is not true.
Okay.
I can think of like 2 things where that statement may not be true, babe.
Okay.
Anywho, all right, guys, let's go right on into our 2 cents. Oh my gosh,
I got a dime today.
You what?
I got a dime today.
You got a dime today? What does that mean?
Oh my god! Go! Oh my god!
Tell me.
You just said our 2 cents, and I said I got a dime. I swear to y'all, my wife is smart. She has 2 degrees. She's very smart. She may be a little slow on picking up on things.
Oh my gosh, shush.
But she's smart.
That made me dizzy. Okay. It says, I need advice. My husband / father of my 2 kids is cheating with escorts.
Good for him.
Really? All right. Husband, father of 2, cheating with escorts. I went through our phone carrier log to look for a specific number, but then checked his call log history only to find out that there were multiple calls to escort.
Hold on. Here we go. This is the 2nd week in a row. Somebody, they snooping.
And erotic massage places. Ooh. Recently, and even from years back, the location the calls were made matched the location of the massage places. These calls are 1 minute. I had even seen his Waze history. One of the addresses was the exact massage place he once called. Every little argument we used to have, he would book a hotel room for a couple of days. He said it was to avoid going to his parents' house and having them ask about our relationship and to avoid more drama.
You fell for that, huh?
But now I think that he did so that he could call escorts over. He told me how his brother always paid for girls to come to his house to clean naked. Anyways, when I confronted him about it and told him how I felt and how he was putting my life at risk because of STDs and how creepy all of this sounds, he just denies everything and says none of it is true and a 1 minute phone call doesn't mean anything. I don't know how to feel about this. Am I overthinking it or overreacting? Help, I need advice.
I mean, if you ain't seen him do nothing, Carter won't nobody, he ain't did nothing.
I mean, but she checked the
it's speculation.
How is it speculation? It's on his call log.
Sustain. Objection, Your Honor. Sustain.
Really?
It's speculation. He has a call. He's calling a massage parlor.
Okay, he's calling a happy ending parlor.
He could just be getting a regular massage. Don't assume the worst.
Okay, first of all, the first thing I'm going to say is
you could be
him being upset or you guys having a disagreement and him getting a hotel room for a few days.
That's wild.
I think that's a little much. That's a little much. We gonna have to resolve it right here. Whether you go to another bedroom, you can sleep in a car.
What happened to sleeping on the couch?
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like sleep on the couch, sleep in your car. But then again,
I understand that I'm not sleeping on the goddamn couch. I pay this mortgage.
Well,
except for my couch is comfortable.
The point being is that we're gonna be in this house, and maybe I have to leave during the day and like be at the library or Barnes and Noble or Target or walk around for a few hours. It don't matter. But come nighttime, we're gonna be in this house together. We're gonna be in this house whether we're getting along or not. We're gonna be in this house together. You will sleep here.
Sure, you're right.
You will sleep here. There is no getting no hotel rooms.
Sure, you're right.
There's no getting no hotel rooms, or you're going to have to, like, bite the bullet and go to your parents' house, I guess.
Go to your mammies.
But hotels? Hotels? Do you agree with getting a hotel when we're having a disagreement?
I mean, some people are cool with that.
Okay, but I'm asking you.
Personally?
Like, if I went and got a hotel room for myself for 3 days.
Don't come back. I hope he's worth it.
That's the first thing. And even if nothing is,
First of all, I'm canceling all my cards so you can't use them.
well, I have cards that you're not on.
That's fine. But it won't be on my card. Tell you that much.
It won't be on a card that you share with me. No?
It will not.
So we can't pay for my hotel stay?
We cannot. If we ain't in there, we ain't paying.
If we're not in that bed together, in that hotel room together, we are not paying for it. But yeah, so for me, the first things first is it's an ixnay.
He clearly put a young lady through college. And you're up here.
I just caught on to what you said.
You are up here trying to make him out to be a bad guy when he's giving back to the community.
Maurice. And putting her life at risk in the meantime.
She's a professional. She gets tested.
We don't know that. He might be dealing with lot lizards.
I shouldn't have taught you what that meant. Because that don't even apply.
You don't know. He could probably just be swinging by and picking one up. No, she said escort. So no. He dealing with a little bit more, one with a little bit more standard, I guess. Anywho, first things first, no hotel room. Second thing, I would need a better explanation for the phone calls to the massage parlors.
Man, if you guys can see inside my head is crazy.
I would need a better explanation.
I'm not explaining nothing. No, what you stupid for?
What's she snooping for?
Yeah.
Obviously, she.
See, this is fishy. It's just, you know what?
What's fishy? Tell me about it.
Like the last time, she just so happened to be looking for pictures.
She was looking for a recipe.
And now this time, she just happened to be looking through the phone logs.
She was going to be looking for the carrier, but then decided to go through the phone logs. In any case,
okay.
In any case, you shouldn't be doing things that you're not supposed to be doing as a married person.
Married women don't pay bills. So they don't even know what bills look like.
Wait a minute. Back up.
I said
you just opened a whole nother. What do you mean married women don't pay bills?
You pay bills?
Not right now. I've paid bills before.
Okay. Did you pay bills?
I've paid many bills before. What are you talking about?
Post-marriage or pre-marriage?
Both.
What bill have you paid post-marriage?
Are you okay? Hold on. When you're talking about pay bills, are you talking about like me sitting down clicking pay, or are you talking about like financially contributing to the bills?
I'm talking about you sitting down clicking pay.
Oh, clicking pay? No.
So, like I said, married women don't pay bills.
But yes, I have like in a whole like financially contributed to paying the bills.
Baby, so, they know that once upon a time you had a job.
Okay, but I thought that's what I was trying to. That's why I'm like, I need to distinguish, because there are plenty. I'm pretty sure there are plenty of married women who pay bills.
All I'm gonna
that
say,
was just a very dumb to say.
All I'm gonna say, ma'am, is when you go looking for poop, you gonna find it.
What?
Where's the poop, Robin?
This has been another episode of Life After I Do. If you're not doing so already, you can follow us on our social media accounts on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram.
You only got 2 more months to follow us on TikTok.
YouTube at Life After I Do Podcast. You can write into the podcast at lifeafteridopodcast@gmail.com if you have any questions or if you need any advice on anything. You get a new episode every Wednesday. And until then,
peace.
Peace.